Hello, everyone. In this episode, we will see how to retrieve the workflow outputs for a project workflow that you've created in your CodeCatalyst dashboard. So in the last episode, we saw how you created the My CodeCatalyst project and also retrieved the JUnit reports. In this episode, you'll see how to retrieve the build and deployment outputs from the workflow that generated. So if you just click on the project here from your project dashboard, the My CodeCatalyst project, you will see on the left a CI/CD option in the navigation pane. Simply click on workflows here. Now, if you just click on this workflow and you click on the runs here, in the last run, in the visual scheme, you can see the status of each and every step that executed. If I can just make it bigger to show you the steps that it goes through. So it first of all pulls through the source code from the repository to do application, and then it runs some tests on the backend, does a build and package of the backend code, and then it goes ahead and does a CDK deployment to the default environment that you've selected. In my case, it is production, but usually it will be a development environment or a test environment. And then from there on, once backend is succeeded, it moves on to build the front end code. And then same thing, it does a bootstrap and does a CDK deployment of the front end code to the default environment. In this workflow run, you can see all of these steps have succeeded and the workflow is completed. Now, if you just click on the artifacts here, you will be able to see the artifacts that were produced at the end of every stage. The main stages were backend and front end. You could download the artifacts and see the results for yourself. You can see the various reports that were generated. We saw how JUnit test reports were populated. This one tells you the coverage report as well. So you could click on this and see the status of the coverage report for your code. You see that line coverage was 64, 27 not covered, 37 covered, and so on. Right. If you go to the environments here, what you could do is create more environments. Right now, my default environment is production, which is where my deployment goes. But you could create more environments and then have either a sequential deployment of your code base to the environments. So it goes to dev first and then test and then non-prod and production. Or you could do a parallel deployment to the environments as well. So for example, for deploying security patches, you could do a parallel deployment to your environment. So you could really control the sequence in your workflow definition. Right. And that's all for this episode. Thank you so much.